Hi everybody, it's Queen Jelly here and welcome to or welcome back to the Toy Box. This is a toy and doll themed YouTube channel meant for adult collectors like myself. With that being said, today's video is going to be a BJD unboxing. We're going to be doing some of these Nyssa Strange World dolls. This is a pre-order that I ordered maybe a month or two ago. It was the second one of the pre-orders that I'd done, but it is the first one to arrive, so I'm very excited about it. This is actually going to be a two-part video. So in this one, we're going to do an unpackaging, you could say, of like all of the stuff so we can see kind of the inventory of what we got. And then in this video though, we're just going to be unboxing the case like you would order normally. So the box of 6 where you get 6 random figures. And then in a follow-up video, we're going to be unboxing this one, which is the hanging card character, as well as the accessories and other stuff that comes with the pre-order. With that being in mind, I do like to remind everyone that I do my videos in sections. So we'll start with a doll chat. Then I'm actually going to be unpackaging everything from the shipping container. Then we'll turn around, look at the stuff we're opening today on the desk. We'll review everything. And then after that, we will add in some pictures of some of the dolls, hopefully, if I get them taken in time. Right now, if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm kind of crunched on filming time, so we'll see how much I'm able to get at the end. And like I said, very shortly after, I will also be posting a second video with everything else from the pre-order. What I will say really quickly is that I actually was not expecting this doll to arrive today. I'm covering her up for right now. When we do the review part, I will probably show you like her full body and everything. But for the intro, I'm just kind of covering her a little bit because she is undressed in here right now. But this is actually the hanging card, which surprisingly comes in her own box and everything, but she is visible from the front. When I made the order for the original set, which I did an all-in, so in part 2 we will be looking at the hidden doll, or the secret rare doll on top of everything else, because I did the all-in, so it should have everything that comes with a basic set of 6 plus the secret guaranteed. When I ordered that, I did not know that this doll was a doll. I thought she was part of the fashion packs, because there are a couple of fashion packs that I did not order for this series. But I did not order her, like I said, because I thought she was a fashion pack. When I found out she was a doll, I was really upset that I hadn't ordered her. So completely different pre-order that I did, I threw her into, because I didn't want to make an order for just one doll. Even though the dolls don't qualify for free shipping anyway, but like it just, I don't know. I'm trying not to order too much right now anyway, so it kind of felt better like adding her into another order that I was doing as opposed to just ordering her by herself. I've said ordering a lot, I'm sorry. But so I was not expecting her to show up the exact same time and like be shipped exactly with this other package. So she's here, but unfortunately her like outer box was a little bit crushed, so that's why I already took her out of the shipping packaging, because I wanted to make sure she was okay. Like you can kind of see the denting here, but everything in the box is fine. It's just the outer box, and we're taking her out anyway. But I just wanted to let y'all know that this did come in a little squished. But the important part is this box here, which is actually really big and really heavy. But this should have our full pre-order in it. So this should be, like I said, the set of 6, all the extra goodies, and the guaranteed secret, which I'm going to be very particular about making sure that I'm actually opening all the figures on camera with you guys, so we're not gonna like look too hard at most of this. Like I said, this is just kind of a quick inventory of what's coming, of like how it's packaged, because I have this phobia, because of course every time when I'm looking for a specific doll from a series, I always end up getting the hidden doll instead, which is great. Like I love when I get the hidden doll, however it always ends up coming at the expense of a doll that I wanted. So I have this phobia of doing these all-in pre-orders and ending up with 2 hiddens. So I want to make sure that I'm being very specific and making sure that I record my unboxings, not only for the purposes of like showing you guys, but like as one big solid take, because Kika Goods will help contact the company and stuff like that if you get a duplicate, but of course they're going to request proof. So when they ship this stuff, they like build the boxes around it. So that's like in there. So that's why I can't. But anyway, the way that they ask for proof is with an unboxing video. And obviously they're not looking for the experience that I'm giving you here, but I need to be able to prove that, you know, if I do get a duplicate, that it's not meant to be there. All right, so we're going to take a quick look. So this separate box here, this should be the guaranteed hidden. Her box is a little squished. I'm sure that's what this says, but this is completely separate. So I'm going to say that this is the guaranteed hidden. We have another hanging card, which this was a gift with purchase for the pre-order. This is, I believe, a recolor of another character that we have, which again, we'll look at closer. And then this is the bundle of stuff that comes in the pre-order. So we're not going to be reviewing any of this right now, but I just want to show a quick preview of some of the stuff that we're getting. So we have some hair pieces. We have a spare outfit. We have an anti-staining suit. We have some, looks like some eyes and some other shoes. Some blank heads. We should have a blank body. I think that's the head for the for the secret one. And then some like accessories. So again, all this stuff will get its own separate review up on my channel very shortly, but I just want to give you a quick peek that there is this whole bag of stuff, including looks like some sticker sheets. So I'm very excited to get into this in a future video. But for now, the main focus of today is going to be this case of dolls, which again is the Nyssa Strange World series. I was kind of back and forth on this set a couple times, but when I ordered this from Kika Goods, it was showing a low inventory, and then when I ordered it, it appeared to be the last one that was currently in stock. They have since restocked, at least as of the last time I checked. So they should still be available, and they are still currently listed as pre-order, but it says shipping in June, July, and it is now July. So all the pre-orders should be starting to ship out. So I'm not entirely sure when that'll switch to just a regular order. And like I said, these are still currently in stock, but at the time when I purchased mine, I had gotten the last actively in stock set. So I was really happy that I ordered mine. What I'm not so happy about is that you can see that it is also crushed on this side as well. But like, because they make the boxes to fit them so that they don't jiggle around, but at the same time, then that means anything that like gets bumped and knocked gets kind of crunched. I did pay like an extra, like, I think it's like $1 for the shipping protection, which obviously is not to protect it in shipping. It's just if something were to be like lost or stolen or whatever, it would be recovered for me. So I think that's all that I have to say, other than look at this super cute artwork on the front. And then you can see the options on this side and the options on this side. And yeah, so we'll go ahead, turn around and look at them on the desk. And then I also have brought over my other BJDs that I have from previous collections so that we can do a size comparison at the end. So thank you for watching so far. Please don't forget to do all the fun YouTube things like, comment, and especially subscribe so that way you can see part 2 of this video. And I will see you in just a second on the desk. All right, so here we are on the desk with the full case. It is quite large compared to the space that I have, so we'll just go ahead and get straight into it. While we're doing that, I will just say that I'm very excited because this is not my first full case unboxing, but this is my first pre-order that I've ever received. I do have 2 others that should be shipping out in the next couple of months. So September, October are their arrival dates. I have seen some pre-orders, not for me personally, obviously, like I said, this is the first one I've received, but go out slightly early. So I'm fingers crossed that maybe one of those will come out a little bit earlier than the other one, because I don't want to have both of those like back to back. But I'm very excited about this because this should be a full case with no duplicates and no secret, because we do have a separate secret ordered. I'm just trying to figure out how to open because this, like I said, is a full case. So this is how you would see it like in store. So there is a little bit of a perforation here so you can like display it. I'm just trying to figure out how to get that going without ruining the box. So I just gave the perforation just a little bit of an encouragement by running my scissors over it. But like, I really wanted to show y'all what the box looked like when it's in display mode, but it just does not want to perforate. There we go. But the more important thing is that I catch all of it on camera as I open everything up, because again, this is, that is the, how you're going to get, I see, there we go. So here is the front panel, and this like completely comes off. And then this part back here, you can't even see it because it's so big, but this part back here would fold up to create the store display. So this part here would be the store display part. So we'll just tuck that back behind it. All right, so here is going to be a box number 1. I will show you, unfortunately, that is basically completely crushed. But here is the front of the box, which has obviously one of the characters on it, and then here are the other options on the side. I will be looking up the names of the dolls when we come back from the fashion part. I did look all of them up and I did have them memorized for a minute, but of course now that I'm looking at them, everything has gone blank. So we have this bunny one, we have a knight one, we have, I believe, a doll one, a nurse, I believe this is the vampire, and then this is like a night watchman, and then the hidden is a zombie bride. Again, I will be looking up more information about them, but for right now, I just want to go ahead and get them open. All of them have a 1:6 ratio with a 1:72 for the hidden. 1, 2, 3. Oh. All right, so we are starting off with the cover one. So here is her card. I believe this is like a little girl. I think her tag is Silence, if I remember correctly. Here is the instructions, which I believe all of them probably have her on it since she is the cover. And then here it talks about the stringing. It appears that they have a neck card that you can swap out, and it looks like it's talking about eye placement and potentially hand swapping. The arms look to be done on an MJD style, which is the mechanical joints rather than strung. So it looks like the stringing goes up to this like a peg, and then the peg can be swapped out for the hand parts, which actually is probably really nice. Actually, interesting. So it's a combination like BJD, MJD. So here is her headpiece, which does not look like it has any sort of magnets in it unless they're molded into it. So that'll be interesting to see how well that stays. But it is like a soft touch material, which is really nice. These rings are really cute on them. And then here is her outfit. Again, we are going to get her dressed. And I don't think I talked about this. I'm sorry. So we're going to get them out of the package, and then I will dress them off camera and then come back and show you all of them once they're fully dressed. If you're interested in seeing videos of me dressing them, please let me know in the comments down below and I will show you how to get them dressed. But for right now, I am just going to do that off camera because that can be a difficult process. So here she is. She actually has some printing on her chest piece. So she has this bow and these X's. She already has on her choker piece. And then her body has a little bit of blushing on it, as well as this sculpted in bow, which I believe is on all of them. And then her fingertips also have blushing on them. And then her hair, again, is that super soft touch material. I don't know what they like make this out of that makes it feel so different, but it's just so nice to like pet. It almost feels flocked, but it's definitely not, because it's the same like texture as the others, but it feels so much softer. Then we have a button here on her hair, And then she has some ribbons in her braids and some more buttons on her hair. And she has very bright green eyes and some light blushing on her cheeks. And then she comes with these black shoes with white soles. They look much larger than her feet, which is kind of surprising, but I'm hoping that maybe that means she comes with some socks to help those stay on better. And now I'm very curious about the hands. Oh, they're rubbery. So they're not like the same material as they typically are. But here we have half a heart hand, a like gripping hand, and then the other half and the other gripping hand. And then with the pre-order, I believe she came with some extra hands as well, but we'll just take a quick peek at this. So it just comes off. Yeah, so it's like an MJD peg, but the body is still strong like a BJD, and then it just swaps out. And like I said, it's like this like rubbery flexible material. That is so interesting. But yeah, there she is. Doll number 1. Like I said, I'll probably, once I have their names, if I remember to while I'm editing, I'll just like put it on the screen here, so that way you can see them at this point. But I will go ahead and get her put back in her package for now. On to box number 2, which thankfully is a little less crushed. I think there's another one I can see that has a little bit of that crushing on it too. This back corner one. All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's the vampire one. This is one of the ones I'm most excited about. So I've seen her name translated 2 different ways. On one side, it's translated as Des, and the other one is translated as Death. My guess is that it's meant to be Death, because most of them have like tags and not like names. But here is her card, which is super cute. Looks like she just is using her sleeve like a little napkin. And there is the back, which again, I will be translating, or at least getting their names. Here is her little outfit. So she has a little black and white dress with some dirt here on the edges of her like clothes. What I'm also noticing though is she does have shoes, and in all the images that I'd seen of her, she was naked feet. So I assume she did not come with shoes. So that is really cool. They're these little black flats with these bat wings on them. And again, they're that flexible material, which I was not expecting. She has the same hands, it looks like, and the same soft touch hair. And this is her face. So again, she has a little blood drip here, some fangs, the number 2 under her eye, and bright red eyes, and a little bat here on her chest. And so I was correct, that sculpting on the leg, that is, I believe, part of the specific body type for this specific like series, that it comes with this sculpting on it, as well as the blushing on the fingers and toes, which is kind of interesting that they went with so much blushing on a series that is based on like, sorry, but like undead children. There we go. That seems a little bit more accurate way to describe them. Again, we will take a closer look at her in all of her outfit once we're completely ready to. That was one of my most anticipated from this series, so I'm glad to have seen her. But now we're going to go ahead and move on to doll number 3. That's already right there on top. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, so this is the nurse character. So this is the one I believe that we also have a recolor of from the pre-order. So here is the black version, which is the regular variant. And then I think she has a white variant for the like gift with purchase one. And then here's her outfit. I like to see that it comes with undies. That's really nice. A little blood splatter on there. And then here is the doll. Looks like her shoe sculpt is the same as the first one that we opened, a black shoe with a gray sole this time. So it's a different color, but it is the same Mary Jane sculpt. Oh wow, her hair goes very long, and appears to be on its own ball joint, but is that same really soft material. She does not have any specific body paint, which is perfectly fine. But she does have this crack here on her face, as well as this little blood spatter, and then her eyes are black with red X's in them, kind of like button-esque, and then she has crosses on her hair. All right, box number 4. There's this strip, it's blending in. Rip. All right, let's see. At this point, we have the Guardian left, we have the Knight left, and we have the Broken Doll left. And 3, 2, 1. And we have the Night Guardian. This was one that I wasn't originally that excited for. It was one of the ones that kind of had me hesitant on whether or not I wanted to order the set. But now that I have, I'm actually really excited about this one as well, because I feel like she's fairly unique. That was her clothing pack. So she has a white and black dress with looks like a red capelet over it. More undies, which is very nice. Her boots, so they're a light gray boot with a dark gray trim. And then here is the doll. Again, no specific printing for her, but she does have green hair with sparkles on it. And she actually has mismatched eyes. So she has a green eye and a button eye, and then some printing all over her face, which again, we'll look at in more specific detail during the full like doll review. This is just kind of a quick look at their just unboxing, essentially. And then, oh, and she has some extra parts. So these are her candle flames. I'm not sure how they're meant to stay on. I thought that they would have been magnetized, but I'm not seeing any magnets in the candles. So maybe they're supposed to just putty on, but I do not have any putty. So that is very unfortunate. Okay, so they use eye plates to hold on their eye chips. Because I was curious if there was like any putty inside that I could potentially borrow from. But I guess I will just have to get some, because yeah, there's no magnets inside her head either. So that is a bit unfortunate. I will have to knock that a little bit for not having a way to connect it on its own. But they do sit down here by her ponytails is the point. That's one thing I'll at least give to 10,000 Escape Plans, is that they had, they at least came with putty for all of their figures that needed it in order to be complete. All right, so here is our second to last box, which again, we just have the Prince and the Broken Doll, which are again one of my least favorites from the collection and one of my most favorites from the collection. Again, not that I don't like, not that there's any that I don't like particularly, but in order to have a most favorite, you always have to have a least favorite. And we can already see that it is the Prince one, which again is one on the least favorite scale. So we're leaving one of my most favorites for the end. But she does appear to come with a lot, which makes sense because she does have that separate crown piece. So here is her card. She's holding the candelabra, so we probably will need to swap to the gripping hand. And then here is her outfit. And then here is her crown. But I think I feel it. Maybe it's wrapped inside her clothes to keep it safe, because I'm not seeing the candelabra. But I think I can feel it like wrapped inside her clothes. Let's just really quick make sure it's there, because that's what is important right now. No, does she not come with it? Because she's always pictured with it, or at least so I thought. I will have to, I mean, none of the other ones came with holdable accessories, so I guess maybe she doesn't actually come with the candelabra, but like I said, I thought she was always pictured with it. Yeah, she has it in her, oh, I found it. Here it is. It was packaged separately. So here's the candelabra, her dress, her socks. This ribbon, I believe, is meant to go up her leg. You probably will not see that on her. And her crown. And then this plastic is very crushed, which is crazy because I don't think that was one of the crushed boxes. Again, undies, which I'm very happy came with these. Was not expecting that. Here are her shoes. So she has a different shoe mold. It's kind of a combination of two of the other ones, but it's the Mary Jane shoe, but then it has this like cuff around the top. And then here is the doll. Again, no specific printing on the body, but has details on the face along with her eye chips. And then pink gradient hair with some red streaks in it. Glad I was able to locate that candelabra because I was really hoping to not have to deal with any of that, but I was prepared to, just in case. I'm not sure how to get this one back together since it's so crushed, so I'm just gonna kind of set her, since we only have one left, I'm just gonna set her back here for a second. All right, and last but not least, this should be the broken doll. Yeah, it is very nice. So here is her white dress with pink bows on it and some of her other accessories here in the back. There it is. Here is her card. Okay. So here is the doll. She does come with an extra eye. So does the eye patch? Okay, the eye patch is removable. So if you wanted to, she could have 2 eyes, but she does have a bloody spot behind the patch. There we go. So I do like that she has the option to have either. That is very nice. I assumed that that piece would be attached to her faceplate. So the fact that it is separate is very nice. And then here is that same shoe mold again, which is the black Mary Jane with the brown sole. All right, so that is all of the basic dolls. So there you can see her eye packed right up there with her. So like I said, I'm gonna go get these dolls dressed and then I will come back and show you them all up and ready. Okay, so we now have them all dressed, and between that last clip and this clip, it has essentially been a full month. So because it is my personal information, I'm not really going to be talking too much about it, but I did have a medical emergency come up that required like surgery and recovery and everything. I am 99% better now. It meant that I could not film for a while, and I also didn't have the energy to edit the videos that I already did have filmed. So I did not mean to just disappear for a full month, but I did, and now I'm back again because we are now reaching the busy months for me. So like August through December are usually pretty packed, so I don't anticipating posting as much as I do the rest of the year, but I do expect to post more often than once every other month. So again, I apologize for that, but I am excited to be back and ready to go ahead and look at these dolls. I did finally get them dressed today because I picked up some tack, so I was able to get all their accessories on. Again, this is going to be the ones that I've already opened in this video, and if you're interested in seeing the other dolls, so the rares and the recolors, I'm going to be posting a separate video hopefully later this week that has the rest of them in there. Like I said, because it has been a month, I did just edit the first half of this video before recording this so that hopefully I kind of don't repeat myself. But as usual with these videos where I record them in segments, I do apologize if any of this is repeat information, but we will go ahead and start looking at them. I'm just gonna grab them in the order that I have them sitting here, which is no particular order. It's not least to most favorite or order I opened or anything like that. I'm just going to show you what is here. So we'll start with her. So we'll go ahead and grab her card. I did add the names in the first half of the video, so forgive me if I don't remember them, but this one is the Night Watchman, and it had like a really weird like spelling to their actual name. It was like Potho, but then it was Night Watchman, so there is their card, and then here is the doll. I really like these candles and how they look when they're on, but again, as I mentioned before, I am a believer that if something is not attachable, it should, like via magnets or anything like that, it should come with putty, because I should not have to make an additional purchase on top of what I've already bought. I just realized that she has the wrong hand on, but what's really nice with these is it's super easy to switch out the hands because they are just these little pegs. And I do have a box of hands because I did not want to keep all of their boxes that they came in, so I went ahead and just threw them in here, which this actually came with the nightgown that was part of the pre-order. That's still the wrong hand. I'm just trying to find any. There we go. I don't really care which one it is as long as it's the correct like side. But yeah, see how super easy it is to change out their hands, which is really nice for like getting them dressed and stuff, because you can take off their hands without having to worry about them getting like unstrung or anything like that. Not any of these ones, but unfortunately one of my dolls does have a rip in her hand, so she did become unstrung, but it is, like I said, a month later, so now noticing that she's broken, unfortunately, I'm not able to get a replacement for her, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. As long as I'm careful with it, it should be fine. Anyway, so from head to toe, like I said, we have her candles, which are tacked on. They have blue flames, and they kind of look like they're melting into her hair. They are sculpted to fit right around the edges of the ponytails. She has some gold sparkles in her hair, and that is separated into these two little puffs. This hood piece is a separate piece that I have tied around her neck that does have a lined hood. Of course, obviously, it's much too small to fit actually on her head, and getting her hairpiece back on after I put this hood on was a little bit difficult, but I was able to manage. And then her outfit is a like white overcoat over like a black dress. This dress piece is all like sewn together, so this is one dress, but it is the look of, like I said, an overcoat over like a black dress. And then for her boots, she has gray boots with a darker gray rim, and then this like blood spot like coming over the top. Her outfit fits pretty good on her, but I will say on most of them, they are really, really tight. A lot of them, as you can kind of see, like the Velcro is really, I can't get it to lay completely flat because the outfits are so tight to them. They're almost too small. Like if I had not opened these myself with a lot of these outfits, I would have not thought that they actually were meant for these dolls, because that is how difficult it was to get their outfits on. I feel they are all styled appropriately. Like you can tell that their dresses are theirs because of that. But as far as fit, I'm not necessarily disappointed because like I was able to get it to fit, but at the same time, it was a lot more difficult than I feel like it should have been to get their outfits on. Before we move on to the next one, I do want to show you her face up close. So she has 2 red stars on her forehead, green eyebrows, red stitching across the top of her nose, and then 2 different eyes. So we have a green eye that kind of looks like a regular eye, and then this gray eye that has the X's in it. And then she has 2 black stars on each of her cheeks, as well as a little frown and a lot of blushing. There's some red makeup around the eyes and black eyelashes below and above her eye. And yeah, that is our Night Watchman. Up next, we have our nun. So let me grab her card. There we go. So this is the nun. This is her original color, which she does have a recolor that will be featured in the other video. But here she is. I really, really love this headpiece. So it's a big cloth piece that is on an elastic. I do have it tacked so that it stays like up close to the top of her head, because it is a little loose, but not like incredibly so. Like it would stay without the tack, but since I had the tack, I use it to just kind of give it an extra assist. It has this really big bonnet area here on the front with a cross and then 2 roses on it, so a bigger one and a smaller one, and then these 2 black bows on either side. And then, like I said, this is a fabric back here with then a ruffle at the bottom and then a red trim on the inside. Looking at her compared to a lot of the other dolls, I think she may be the best candidate for the bodysuit, the anti-staining bodysuit that came with the pre-order. I haven't put it on anybody yet. Again, especially with how tight their clothes fit to their body. I'm not sure that their clothes would even fit if I put on an anti-staining suit underneath them. But that is neither here nor there at this moment. She does have... Oh, oopsie. So while I have her head off, I want to kind of show you like how tight it is. Like, it's so precisely tight and like almost impossible to get it to lay flush with the Velcro, especially like with her, for instance, because this elbow guard right here is so tight that you cannot get the upper part of the arm through it. So it is very much like this has the lower portion of the arm in it, and then this has the upper portion in the arm of it, and they're like completely separated. And so there's like no flexibility or give to get the outfit closed. Obviously, like once you have it closed though, like you don't have to worry about it like going anywhere, but the getting dressed process is very difficult. It definitely took me a couple of hours to get all of them dressed, even without having to restring any of these ones. The only one I had to restring was the one, like I said, that broke. Overall, I do definitely think she is one of my more preferred designs. As I've shown off her outfit now, for her hair, it is a light gray with these kind of crosses like printed on it. And then she has this really cool like braided hairpiece here in the back that is on its own ball joint. As you can see, it is removable if you want it to be. And then she would kind of have a little bit of a shorter do, but I really like this braid piece. I'm just pushing it a little bit back so that way it doesn't force the hair off of her head. It does have these 2 little side braids in the front as well, which are really cute. And then her face has a blood splatter down here and some cracking under her eye. And then she has the crosses in this eye and then the regular pupil in this eye over here, but with that same kind of black and red eyeshadow and eyelashes. And then she kind of has a little bit of a worried look on her face. And then she has a black choker here with a cross on it, a kind of like little apron area up here at the top with some bows on it and some more blood spatter. And then this is actually a separate piece, her apron here. It is a red waistband with a cross on it, and then again some more blood spatter on there, and then it ends with a trim of white ruffles. And then she has these socks, so they are separate, 2 different prints. So this one has a red cross at the top, and this has a gray, red, and purple cross on it. And then she is wearing black and gray Mary Janes. Again, one of the ones that I really like. So, okay, on to the next one. This would be our Disturbed Lolita. That one's her. She's also the one that's up here on the top. I do have her with the eye patch on because that is how she is in the art, but she did come with a second eye, which is really nice if you don't like the eye patch. And here she is up close. So her headpiece is held on with a ribbon. As you can see, I have it tied around her neck because, again, that's kind of how it looks in the artwork. I think it's interesting they did this with the bride as well, where the headpiece has a ribbon on it to make the choker, as opposed to having 2 separate pieces for the choker and the headpiece. I don't mind it if it works. So her bangs come down, and then she has a gap here right over her good eye, and then this is the patch, so it has a little cross on it, and she has a down turned mouth, and her other eye is kind of a light brown green combo, and then red and black eyeshadow and eyelashes again. On the back here we have these little ponytails, and then it comes down loose down to her waist. Again, she has that same kind of like bib piece up here. Hers is actually loose though. with 3 black buttons on it, a gold trim, and then that same kind of shape of like a little puff, and then flat. But her puff sleeves are not as tight as the maid's are, but they're still tight. And then there's these red X on that sleeve, but not on this one. And then we have some more blood splatter here. So we have it here on the front and down here at the side with some pink ribbons on the front. And then she came with these little white socks with pink ruffles. And then her Mary Janes are black and brown. Fairly simple design, but effective. Another one that I really like. I'm gonna keep saying that, I guess, because I like most of them. This is our Lost Bunny doll or something like that. I wish that she had come with this accessory piece, but other than that, she does come with almost everything else we see here. So I'm pretty happy with her. But like I said, I really like her bunny plush here. I wish she that's what she like represents. So I wish that she'd kind of come with that accessory. I did have to tack on one of the rings. I don't know if that was a me problem or the way that they came, but this one's really tight, but this one is super loose, so I had to tack it to get it to stay. I also have the headband tacked on, but as you can see, it is molded to the shape of her hair, so it does have like a pretty tight fit to her head, even with the tack being in there. On her bangs, there is a pink and a yellow button. She has mostly blonde hair, but as you can see, there's kind of a little bit of a pink highlight right at the very tips of the hair. And then on the back, we also have another pink button, but it is separated into 2 piggy tails that kind of have these little puffs, almost like a braid, but not quite, going all the way down with red ribbons at the end of them. She has this collar on, which if you took her head plate apart, you might be able to get off. But it was really appreciated that it already came on because that can be quite difficult. I feel like they did a really good job of not requiring me to take any parts off in order to dress these dolls other than the hands. And again, I didn't have to take off the hands as like restringing wise take off the hands. I literally just had to pull them off of those little pegs. So that is something that I really appreciate about them, especially because it was so difficult to get the dresses to close. Again, you can see that gap right there. I do appreciate that it was easy to dress in other ways. Another thing I appreciate is that they did all come with undergarments of some kind, but each of them came with slightly different ones depending on the outfit. So like ones where you could like see them like this are a little bit more like a bloomer style, and then some of them were completely blank and some of them had ruffle trims on them. So I do like that they were all like slightly different, or like a couple of different categories. For her dress, it is this little puffy gray number here. So it does cut very low, which is why she has these like tattoos here on the front, which is kind of like her stitching. And then she has a little pink ribbon here with the white trim, which is really cute. And then I like these sleeves. They are attached, so they're not like gloves, but they are like off the shoulder, which is really cute. And then I like this little bunny tail back here. And then as I was showing, she has the bloomers underneath, and then a black ribbon that is on an elastic for her garter. And then she has these like leg warmer type pieces. They are 2 different ones. So this one has a pink and yellow button on it that are actually sewn on. And this one has a red button over a ribbon. And then as you can see right now, she only has 1 shoe. She does come with both, but they are the same sculpt as the other dolls that are wearing socks, but she does not have socks. So hers fall off kind of easily. I will have to potentially give her a different pair of shoes, but those are the ones that she has for now. Again, overall, another super cute design. I do wish that the dress fit her a little bit better, but I do really like this pink ribbon and stitching here on her chest. So, and her overall aesthetic kind of overrides any misfortunes that I have with how her dress fits on her chest. All right, next we have up Des or Death the Vampire. I really like her design. I think it's kind of interesting that in most of the images she is shown without shoes on, but she actually has fairly unique shoes, especially compared to the others. So it's kind of interesting that they put a lot of effort into her shoes, even though it seemed like not a main part of her character. But they are really cute, and they have these little bat wings here on the side, and they just slide on and off like any of the others. She does also not have socks, but because of this band here, I don't have to worry about her shoes coming off. A nice thing also is that her wings up here are molded into the hairpiece along with these clips here. So she has white hair that is in these two little knots on the side, and again it kind of has a pink dip at the end of them, as well as at the end of these loose parts here on the side. She has pink eyebrows and then bright red eyes, but the same makeup as everybody else. And then she has a little mouth with little tiny fangs and some blood dripping from them, and the Roman numeral 2 under her eye. I'm not sure why, but that is there. And then she has this bat tattoo on her clavicle, which is really cute. And then her dress was pretty easy to get on because it is very simple, but again, of course, not closing 100% in the back. It has this like white meshy material here at the top, and then a pleather black material on top of it with a red X on it. Her armbands are actually completely separate from her outfit. They are just plain white on this one, and then this one has some red X's on it, but the ends of them are a little like dirtied, they're a little yellowed. They are longer than her hands, so there is the tip of her fingers right here, and then you can see all this is just fabric. So I was going to give her some different hands, but it doesn't matter because you can't see them because these sleeve parts are so long, and that is how they're supposed to be, like if you look in the artwork. And the same kind of yellowing, dirty ends are here on the bottom of her skirt. And then she has a pleather band for her garter, and there you can see she has one of the more ruffled pairs of panties, but they are still like the more like brief shape, which I think is really, like I said, cute that they gave them all different styles. But because her dress is shorter, they gave her the little ruffles just in case. And then I already was showing you the shoes. So there is the vampire. And then last but not least is going to be our princess. Which is right here. Here's the card. So I do want to point out really quick that for her accessories, she did come with the crown, which does not stay on very well, and the candelabra, but in the image she is also holding a book. So the pre-order came with some books. I went ahead and gave her one of the books from the pre-order, but just know that that did not come with this doll as she is. I did add that from other things from this order. But here she is. I think her crown may have gotten a little warped in the packaging, and that might be why. I did try to tack it down, but as you can see, it still slides around a bit, so I have also rubber banded it to her head. Hopefully over time it will relax a little bit and stay better, but that is what I have for now. Again, it is currently working, so whatever works, whatever gets the job done. She has long pink hair that goes all the way down. It is a little bit darker at the ends and kind of gradiates up to a light pink with this red streak that runs through it, which is really cute. She also has pink eyebrows, a black cross on her forehead. She has gray eyes, one with the regular people and one with the X in it. And then she has little black dots on her cheek and again a little downturned mouth. Her collar is white and then kind of hangs down to what would be about belly button length with a red ribbon on it. She has these little cold shoulders on both sides trimmed in a ruffle, and then black sleeves that go down to her hand trimmed in a black ruffle. And then it's kind of like a crushed velvet for her dress material that goes down to just past her backside with a lacy white trim at the bottom, and then these red decals on them. I'm not sure what they're called, but you typically see those like crests like in castles and stuff like that. I'm not sure if there's a name for this specific shape though. It's kind of a cross but with some extra material at the top and on the sides. This candelabra is what comes with her, and this grippy hand just kind of hold onto it. You still have to be careful, of course, but it is holding onto it with no like additional tack or anything, which is really nice. It is a gold handle with white candles and blue flames. And then, like I said, she is holding that book that does have some tack to help her hold it on. And again, it is official from this series, but does not come with this doll. So if you just bought her currently, you would not get this. And then I have the ribbon tied around her leg. As you can see, it's kind of sliding around as I knew it would be, which is why I wasn't originally going to put it on, but I did want to give you the full idea. So here she has the black ribbon around her leg. She does come with 2 different height socks. So she has a shorter one for the leg that's supposed to have the ribbon and a longer one for the leg without. And then her shoes are the Mary Jane shape like the others, but it has this additional piece up here around the ankle, which is really cute. I don't know if it helps keep the shoes on or not, but she does have the socks, so it doesn't really matter whether or not she has those. And she also has the pair of ruffled underwear, again, because she has a little bit of a shorter dress. And there is the princess. I'm going to go ahead and go into final thoughts now that we've had a quick look at all of them dressed up. So if you are looking at getting these right now, as of filming this video in the mid-August, they are still available. However, they are no longer on pre-order, so you can purchase them as a 1 of, 3 of, or a 6 of. You do get some freebies. I'm not sure what the freebies are, like how similar they are to the pre-order gift, and I don't know how long that will last. I don't know if it's just like leftovers or if that's something that will be continual, but as of right now, that is what is available. Again, this is the standard 6 in the set. I will be doing a separate review on the additional dolls that I have. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite out of these. I really like a lot of them. I definitely think that these 3 are the strongest. Like, that's all kind of a matter of personal preference. My 2 big pet peeves, 1 are that the dresses don't close very well in the back, and 2, that they do not come with putty, and a lot of their accessories require putty for them to put on. But other than that, I really think that they have a like overall cohesive look. Like, if you look at them together, they definitely look like a series, but at the same time, they also stand out very individually. They all have their own dedicated looks, and I really appreciate that. I like that they all have different colored eyes, and they all have like unique fashions and accessories. And a pro is definitely the way that their hands are the little pegs and they just slide on and off. You do have to be very careful when removing them, because just like any other like Monster High or any of those other ones that have like the peg hands, you just need to be really careful with removing them so that you don't break them. But otherwise, I think that that's such a smart way to do ball joint doll hands, so that you don't have to constantly take the dolls apart and worry about restringing. I really like the material that they used for their hair. It's really soft and not the traditional material that we see for like their faces. And yeah, again, my overall is a positive. I just wish that their clothes fit a little bit better, and then I would be even happier with them. But if you like the style, I definitely recommend them. I don't remember how much the price I paid for them was, but I do feel like that they were around the normal price for BJDs, at least at the time when I purchased them. So I do feel like they are worth the purchase price. Again, that could have changed. Things can go up, especially after like a pre-sale, because usually like pre-sale prices are kind of set, and then after that they can kind of change. And obviously things are dependent on where you live, because different places have different taxes and that kind of stuff. So, but an overall positive experience with these, especially with the whole a month in between opening them and finally getting them dressed, which was not their fault. That was on me, but I'm still really happy with them and happy to finally have them already. And I can't wait to bring them with me in my doll bag and take lots of really cute pictures of them. Unfortunately, I won't have any in time for this video to go up, but hopefully in the future I will have some to share with you guys. So thank you so much for listening to my rambling. I do hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're getting so close to 1,000 followers. As of right now, like, I don't make any money off of this channel, but with your guys' help, if you can watch the videos, like the videos, and subscribe to the channel, we will get to that 1,000 viewers, and maybe someday I can start making some money so that I can make even more videos for you guys. So again, if you enjoyed any one of those things, really helps out the channel. But right now the biggest thing is getting subscribers, so make sure you're subscribed, tell your friends, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.